Welcome to this session of mindfulness, awareness, and compassion practice. What we're going to do today is start with a grounding and settling practice. We'll do that with our eyes closed. And then we open our eyes to connect with the space that we're in. But what we'll do is a focusing practice, mindfulness practice. And the word mindfulness means paying attention. It also means mindful. So some people think this is about clearing your mind, but in fact, your mind is full, but what it's full of is what's going on in the present moment. So you are mindful of perceptions, you're mindful of bodily experiences, and we'll use as our focal point or anchor of that mindfulness our breathing. But you're also mindful of thoughts arising. The interesting perspective on that is, sometimes if you look at one of those diagrams of the outline of a cube, if you look at it one way, one of the faces is forward and the other is back. You look at it another way, it's reversed. We tend to focus on the partial picture rather than on the big space. So when you look, for example, at this screen, most people will focus on the moon or the clouds or the mountains and trees. But if you look at it from the perspective of the sky and use that as your basic frame of reference, then all of these are appearing within that bigger view. So when we do our mindfulness practice, we try to stay with the bigger view of awareness. That's why it's called mindfulness and awareness practice. Awareness of what's arising within the bigger space of our mind. Mind is like the sky. Perceptions and appearances and thoughts are like the moon and the clouds and the mountains and the trees, all arising within the space of the sky. But we'll start with focusing and the practice of staying present to that experience, because we might see and be aware of a thought from the perspective of the sky, but then the thought captivates our attention and leads to another thought and another thought and another thought, and then we're off in a daydream. A friend of mine described it as the practice is to watch the parade going by, but sometimes you find yourself in the parade. When you realize that you're in the parade, then you step back. So when you realize you're in the clouds, then step back and identify more with the sky. So that's the basic practice. Then we open up and we switch our attention from fixation on this to opening to that. The practice is called mixing mind and space on the medium of the breath. So as the breath goes out and mixes with space, with the environment in the room, our awareness goes out and opens up to the space. So we're less focused on this, me, and more open to that. And that becomes the context for doing the compassion practice. The context for doing the compassion practice is this open space, mind like the sky, and the sky, all living beings are under that same sky. Might be northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. One side of the world is it's nighttime, the other side it's daytime, but it's all under the sky. And what we shift our perspective on in that case is usually, because of our fixation on this versus that, we notice our differences. In this case, we're switching and noticing what's in common. And when we find what's in common, then we have a connection with all other beings. And that becomes the basis of our compassion practice. It's really a combination of kindness and compassion. The meaning of kindness is wishing for all beings to have the positive qualities of happiness, contentment. You could sum it all up under well-being, health, peace of mind, safety, all well-being. That's kindness, wishing others to have that, ourselves and others, that all beings have that. Compassion is wishing that all beings, including ourselves, be free from the negative experiences of suffering, anxiety, fear, danger, hunger. And compassion is the wish that all beings could be free from that. Kindness is the wish that all beings could have the positive qualities of well-being. And we use our imagination in that. It's more of a contemplation than a meditation when we do that part of imagining. As we breathe in, we imagine that we could draw out, like sucking poison out of a snake bite, that we could take the poison out that's causing so much suffering in the world. Of course, then we want to spit that out. Unless we are have the capacity to transform that poison into medicine. But that takes some doing. So we want to have the idea that as we imagine that we're breathing and taking away this negativity from other beings, that we have this, our heart is like an air purifier. So we breathe that in as if it's smoke. And our heart of compassion purifies that negativity, any negativity that we imagine that we're breathing into our heart of compassion. And it purifies it. And what we send out is cool, fresh air of well-being. So that's the process that we'll go through. And at the end, we can have some discussion. I'll reiterate a little bit about the practices at each stage. And I'll use this gong to signal the start and conclusion of different sections of the practice. So to begin with, one thing we like to do is, if you have a screen right in front of you, it's best not to be looking directly at the screen when we do open our eyes. So when we get to that section of the practice, or you can do it now, you'll want to turn your seat or turn your screen or both, so that you're able to see some space in front of you, and definitely not look directly into the screen. And we want to set up so that our breathing flows freely and that we are in a posture of paying attention, and also an uplifted posture rather than a downtrodden posture. So you can leave your eyes open for this part or close them, but let's work with our posture and really Feel our seat. Start with, whether you're in a chair or a cushion, your sit bones, your two sit bones, make them balanced so that you're not leaning on one side or the other. Feel like your spine is upright, so you're not tilted forward or leaning back. If you can help it, don't lean back against the chair if you're sitting in a chair, or the wall if you're on a cushion. If you need a little support, just scoot your butt back to the base of the chair. And then settle in with that upright spine. Legs are either crossed in front of you or flat on the floor, about hip width apart. You'll want to cross them in front of you if your knees are higher than your hips. It puts less strain on your legs and back. You don't have to work so hard. For your arms, you want your upper arms hanging straight down, and then leaving your elbows where they are. Swivel your hands up and put them flat, palm down on top of each respective thigh. Now you have your limbs. We want to really inhabit our body, so just be aware of your legs, how they are resting, the weight of your feet on the floor, and how your legs connect into your hip joints. Move a little bit and feel that. And then reset your sit bones. Your spine, as I said, is upright. And feel as if there's a straight line. There is curvature in your spine, but feel like there's a straight line from your tailbone all the way up past your neck to the back of the top of your head. What happens then is you don't find your chin floating up or your head tilted down, but your chin naturally comes in a little bit as you feel that straightness of the back of your head extending down and through the spine. And within that, move your shoulders a little bit so you feel how your arms are connected to your torso. And if you can, raise your sternum, your breastbone, just a tiny bit up and forward, just like a quarter of an inch, a centimeter, up and forward. And you'll find that that opens up your chest. Your shoulders come back a little naturally and end up in a nice alignment with your ears. And everything's aligned. In that opening of your chest, lets your breath flow more naturally, and also has a feeling of upliftedness and dignity and open-heartedness. And when we have open-heartedness, we have open mind as well. Now let your eyes close and just inhabit your body. Feel your whole body, how the breath goes in and out, the weight of your sit bones on the cushion, feet on the floor. We often carry unnecessary tension around with us all day and don't even realize it. So we're going to do a little body scan. And starting at the top of your head, just scan your scalp, your face, your jaw. You want your lips just very, very lightly touching or very, very slightly parted. We're breathing in through our nose. If some air comes out through our mouth as we exhale, that's fine. Your tongue can just rest naturally or Or if you're comfortable, let it rest just very lightly touching your upper palate behind your front teeth. Be aware of any tension you might have in your jaw and just let it melt. Let it soften without your mouth hanging open. You have your upright posture, so there's a little bit of tension in the back of your neck holding your spine and neck and back of your head in a straight line. But everything else around your neck, around your collarbone, around your shoulders, let it soften. Let your shoulders just hang down by themselves. Chest, upper back, and upper arms, rib cage all around. Let any extra tension that you don't need to hold your posture, let it go. Let it go. Lower back, stomach, deep belly. We often have tension in our deep belly and pelvic region, a subtle clenching that we don't even realize. Without losing your posture, just let it soften. Let it melt. Let go. Hips, thighs, forearms, and hands. Sometimes we have tension in our hands. Just let them lie there on top of your thighs. Knees, calves, ankles, and feet. And now direct your awareness to your deep core. You don't need to come all the way back up into your head. Just rest in your deep core, a couple of inches below your navel, just in front of your spine. When the diaphragm is going up and down, pulling the breath in and pushing it out, it feels like you're breathing all the way down into the deep core of your torso. Feel that. Feel the breath coming in your nostrils, going down your back, all the way into your deep core. If you can rest your awareness down there, it's quiet. Gentle movements like the currents at the bottom of a clear pond. Now that we've established our base, let your eyes open about halfway. Look down under your eyelids without tilting your head. Become aware of the space that your body is sitting in. So with awareness of that space, awareness of your posture, focus your attention on that feeling of filling in the deep core of your torso as the breath comes in, emptying as the breath goes out. And to practice focusing, we're going to count those breaths. from 1 to 18. 1 on the inhale, 2 on the exhale, 3 on the inhale, 4 on the exhale. When you get to 18, start again. If your mind drifts off into a series of thoughts, into a daydream, when you realize it, maintain your sense of humor, smile and go, ah, that's wandering. Back to focusing. You may think that you're paying attention and you're counting and find that you're on odd and even numbers switched. Again, smile and start again at 1. We'll do that for a couple of minutes. There's no need to manipulate your breath at all. Be more an observer, just counting as your body breathes, however it does, long or short, deep or shallow. As the gong fades, reconnect with your posture. Move a little if you have to, freshen. We do short practices and take fresh starts. And now let your eyes be open naturally. And from that posture, the good posture, your eyes will rest in a particular direction, not too far down, not too far up. Wherever they're resting, soften your gaze, soften your face muscles, open up your peripheral vision, side to side, above and below. Open up to the space in front and around you. And as the breath goes out, let your awareness ride out with it. As I mentioned before, you're letting go of the fixation on this and opening up to that. Letting go of this, opening to that. The breath goes out and mixes with the atmosphere in the room. Let your awareness go out and let your mind mix with the space. Within that bigger awareness, you'll notice that you're breathing back in, but you don't have to follow it in. Just notice that and pick up again as it goes out. Out, open, and rest in spaciousness. Out, open, let go. We'll do that for a couple of minutes. Again, if you find your mind wandering, smile, have a sense of humor, and go, oh, off in thoughts. Just have the mental note, off in thoughts. Out, open to the here and now. As the gong fades, refresh your posture. And as the basis of our compassion practice, our kindness and compassion practice, we want to let our mind be as vast as the sky. So raise your gaze, take your good posture, reconnect with your good posture. Raise your gaze so you're looking out at the level of the horizon. Again, open up your peripheral vision. In front and all around. And as you breathe out, imagine that your awareness extends out beyond the area that you're in, all the way out to the horizon, all the way out to the sky. Rest for a moment in that spaciousness of mind as vast as the sky. Within that awareness, recognize and contemplate that all beings have in common the wish or desire for well-being, and the wish or desire to be free from pain and suffering, physical and mental. Physical and mental well-being, freedom from physical and mental pain and suffering. Feel that in yourself. And know that you share that in common with all beings. And rouse in your mind the wish that all beings could experience the well-being in mind and body. You wish that all could share in that. Bring to mind the wish that all beings could be free from pain and suffering in mind and body. And join that wish with your breath, imagining that you could draw in and take away from all beings their pain and suffering. Gather that negativity and your heart of compassion transforms that energy into positive energy. And as you breathe out, send out well-being. The general feeling, just a texture, the texture of pain and suffering, thick, dark, heavy. Send out well-being, lightness, freshness. And think of a particular person close to you that you know what they need as far as well-being goes. You know what pain and suffering they have. Someone you love. And as you breathe in, imagine that you're able to take that pain and suffering away from them, like a mother would want to do for her child. Take it away, transform it, and send back well-being to them. Take away their fear, send them security. Take away their hunger, send them fulfillment. Take away their anxiety, send them peace of mind. If you find it easier to do it with your eyes closed, that's fine. It's a contemplation and an imagination. Empathize with their suffering. Feel it, and you know how much you wish you could relieve them of that. Send them well-being, and feel how good it feels to be able to extend that to them. Because you have a heart of compassion, the pain and suffering doesn't stick to you, it doesn't land in you. It's transformed by your heart of compassion so that you can continually extend more and more. Kindness is limitless. Compassion is limitless. Expand beyond that loved one to everyone you know. If you want to include pets or animals, that's fine too. Those people you like and get along with, the ones you just know, don't feel more one way or the other, and those you have difficulty with. We all share the same wish. Breathe in, take away all of their pain and suffering of body and mind. Transform it and send out kindness of well-being in body and mind. If a person you have difficulty with comes to mind, feel the negative emotions. Breathe your own into your heart as you breathe in theirs. And send out the opposite, the positive energy. If you feel anger towards each other, breathe that in and send out patience and acceptance to each other. Breathe in your fixed ideas about them and theirs about you. Breathe out open-mindedness to both of you. And as best you can, extend the field of compassion and kindness to all beings. You may focus on a particularly painful, war-torn area of the world. Imagine you can take away and relieve all the pain and suffering and send out peace and safety. Breathe in fear and danger. Send out peace and safety. And finally, go deeper into the causes of the pain and suffering. Breathe in the negative emotions. Take away from others. It's not that you're taking them for yourself, but just taking them away, relieving others of hatred and anger, of greed, of closed-mindedness and ignorance, of lust for power, jealousy, pride and arrogance. Take all those away and send out instead patience and acceptance, contentment, feelings of equality, acceptance, wisdom, and caring. If we could fill all beings with those and take away the negative emotions, the world would be the way we'd like it to be for ourselves and others. A world of peace and understanding, free from hatred and ignorance. As the gong fades, let go of your imagination and your contemplation. Just bring your awareness back to here and now, your posture, your body, your breathing. Now, to conclude, the practice becomes more powerful if we dedicate its benefit to others and say we're not just doing this for ourselves, but to make the world a better place. And we do that by saying, and you can repeat after me, or you can put in your own words, may the practice we have just done be of benefit to others, even more so than to ourselves. It's good to clarify our minds, to cultivate our mindfulness and awareness. But it's limited if we just do that for ourselves to feel better. If we do that with the motivation that we can then better help others, it's infinitely more powerful. So thank you for your practice, for your attention. And that concludes today's session of mindfulness, awareness, and compassion practice.